This Civic Media podcast is sponsored by UW Organ and Tissue Donation. Organ donations are desperately needed, and now is the right time to become an organ donor. Talk to your family. Get the dot. Save lives. Go to heroicdeed.com.
This is your WLAK Daily News Roundup for Lake Air, 107.5 FM and 1260 AM in Amory.
For WLAK News, I'm James Kelly. A Bayfield man accused of drug possession and maintaining a drug trafficking place has been found incompetent to stand trial. According to court documents, 55-year-old Robert Charette Jr. was arrested earlier this year after law enforcement authorities allegedly discovered hundreds of oxycodone and hydrocodone pills in a camper he owned. An Ashland County Circuit Court judge found him incompetent to stand trial after a recent court appearance, but committed him with periodic visits with the expectation that he will be competent enough in the future. A cable man has been charged after allegedly assaulting an officer while interfering with an OWI investigation. Barron County Sheriff's deputies say they conducted a traffic stop at around 1:30 a.m. on Sunday, ordering the driver to go through the standardized field sobriety test. During the interaction, the 18-year-old passenger allegedly became confrontational and began violently swinging and thrashing after officers attempted to remove him from the car. Authorities also discovered there was an active arrest warrant for the man during the incident. The Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources has announced the implementation of a new program to manage the brook trout population in the state. According to a press release, Wisconsin's cold water streams are a perfect habitat for the fish, but warming temperatures could threaten them over the coming years. Through the Brook Trout Reserves program, DNR officials are encouraging residents to enroll their property in the Stream Bank Easement program, plant trees along the streams to keep them cool, and join their local conservation groups. A Marshfield man accused of killing his roommate and moving her body to Price County will head to trial. On Tuesday, 38-year-old David Castro Garcia waived his right to a preliminary hearing on charges of first-degree intentional homicide. He was accused of killing 28-year-old Blanca Yesenia Hernandez Portocarrero and moving her body to the township of Hackett before lighting it on fire. Authorities discovered her body when they responded to the fire. Castro Gutierrez allegedly admitted to the homicide and is expected to enter a plea in January. Law enforcement authorities are urging residents to avoid getting behind the wheel while intoxicated during the holiday season. The weeks between Thanksgiving and the New Year are some of the most popular travel weeks of the year, and residents may be planning to partake in holiday activities that could leave them impaired. If you do plan to participate in the festivities, you should plan ahead to make sure you have reliable transportation. Authorities will also be conducting their Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over campaign through the end of the year. Wisconsin Senator Tammy Baldwin is once again calling on Congress to pass a new farm bill before the end of the year. Senator Baldwin criticized lawmakers for continuing to kick the can down the road on passing the bill, which includes numerous resources for farmers and helps set up the framework for programs like SNAP and nutrition initiatives. The new farm bill is supposed to be passed every 5 years, but a new one hasn't been passed since 2018. The last farm bill was extended for an extra year, but now lawmakers must pass a new one or extend it again. A Town of Superior family was displaced on Sunday after a major fire completely destroyed their home. According to Town of Superior Fire Department officials, crews responded to the call on the 4900 block of Finn Road at around 9 p.m. on Sunday and spent about 4 hours clearing the scene of the fully engulfed home. In total, officials estimated that the fire caused about $60,000 in damage. Nobody was seriously injured, but one person was evaluated at the scene for smoke exposure. The cause of the fire is under investigation. County officials from across the state are reminding residents to stay out of the way of snowplow drivers in honor of Snowplow Driver Appreciation Day on Monday. The honoring of those drivers lined up almost perfectly with the first significant snow across most of the state on Monday, giving plow drivers a chance to remind commuters to give them extra space, slow down, and pay attention as they work to make the roads safer for everybody. A number of highway officials have complained of drivers following plows too closely and getting in their way as they work. A recent study found that Wisconsin residents are paying a smaller percentage of their wages on utility costs than most other states. The study, conducted by Eden Emerald Hot Water, found that Wisconsin ranked 13th in spending on utility bills, with about 12% of the average salary going towards things like gas, water, internet, and cable. It also found the total average utility cost for Wisconsin residents was about $6,700, compared to the average salary of $56,000. Minnesota was the only Midwest state to rank higher. The Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources is reporting a larger deer harvest from this year's gun deer hunt season despite issuing fewer licenses. According to a press release, preliminary data shows hunters registered nearly 190,000 deer in total, which is a little more than 5% higher than the 2023 harvest. Hunters in the central forest and farmland zones had especially strong harvests, with increases in both antlerless and antlered deer up to 9% higher than 2023 and 11% higher than the 5-year average. For WLAK News, I'm James Kelly.
Badgers lose to Michigan. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. The Badgers lost to Michigan last night, 67-64 in the Kohl Center. Wisconsin now 8-1, their first loss of the season. Greg Gard.
As I told the team, this is the lowest possession game we've had all year. So when you get in these type of games, the ability to defend, we didn't defend the paint well. Rebounding, we gave up too many offensive rebounds in the first half. A lot of them were all long rebounds and wild possessions. And then untimely turnovers.
The Badgers face Marquette Saturday in Milwaukee. Marquette on the road tonight against Iowa State. The Bucks advance to the NBA Cup quarterfinals after a 127-107 win over the Pistons in Detroit. Damian Lillard.
Coming into this game, they knew it was a big game for them, but it was a big game for us too. Closer towards, getting to Vegas, also closer towards becoming the team that we want to continue to become.
NFL, the 9-3 Packers head to Detroit to face the 11-1 Lions tomorrow night on Thursday Night Football. Josh Jacobs says it'll be a showdown.
Obviously, they've been rolling. They've been playing really good ball. So we feel like we've been playing good ball too. They the top of the division, and that's what we hunting. So it's gonna be fun.
That's Packers running back Josh Jacobs. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. Sharon Stone has accused director Sam Raimi of having no loyalty. That's according to Deadline. The two worked together on Raimi's fantastic film, The Quick and the Dead, on which Stone was a producer. She says after that film, Raimi went on to direct big films and totally forgot about her. Stone credits herself for bringing Raimi from B-movies to A-list movies. That might be true, but she also took credit for Russell Crowe and Leonardo DiCaprio's stardom. Great actress, but who knew she was a kingmaker? If you're one of those people who still watches Saturday Night Live, good for you. There are still some good laughs here and there. Also, you can look forward to former cast regulars Chris Rock and Martin Short hosting before Christmas. Rock will host December 14th, and Martin Short will host December 21st. This coming Saturday, Paul Mescal hosts with Shabuzi as the musical guest. Enjoy. When I saw Wicked last weekend at my local theater, I was surprised the crowd wasn't more into it. On the other hand, some theaters are taking issue with moviegoers singing along. Stars Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande weighed in, saying audiences should do whatever they feel. Moana's 2, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, also says it's okay to sing along. So to those who heckled me last weekend in the middle of my performance during the film, I say take that. And seriously, clapping is good, but let's leave the singing to the professionals. If you're a fan of Yellowstone, there's a pretty good bet one of your favorite characters has been killed off in recent episodes. I will hold off on the most recent killings for spoiler purposes, but the killing spree started with Kevin Costner's character John Dutton, who was found dead in the first episode of the second half of Season 5. If you're a fan of the show, you better start watching while there's still a cast. If you're in the Milwaukee area and looking for live holiday entertainment, run, don't walk to see A Christmas Carol at the Pabst Theater. The Dickens classic is one of the most well-known Christmas stories ever, and as usual, is put on by the Milwaukee Rep. Because of a few harrowing moments, recommended ages are 6 and above, but word on the street is they aren't checking IDs. Tickets start as low as $15, and at those prices, you can't afford not to check it out. You might think being nominated for an Academy Award is a big deal. For most people, it would be, but not Samuel Jackson. Jackson was nominated in the Best Supporting Actor category for his role as Jules in Quentin Tarantino's Pulp Fiction. Jackson told the AP that people barely remember who won, much less who didn't when it comes to nominations. Jackson did, however, say it would be an honor to win, even though he hasn't had the pleasure yet. For more showbiz fun, tune in to Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
It is going to be very windy with light snow and blowing snow today and falling temperatures. We are going to drop into the teens, low to mid-teens by late this afternoon with a wind chill below zero by later today. Tonight, cold, windy, 5 above. Tomorrow, mostly sunny with a high of 18. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Temperature now 29.
That's your WLAK Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at lakeair.radio. The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.